Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. This episode of She-Hulk, and yes, I just got done torturing myself with the latest episode of She-Hulk. To be honest, this episode was pretty lame. This whole season is just all over the place. Maybe it's because they didn't have a lot of time to edit all the episodes that they wanted. Maybe it's because it's just females being judgmental and sexist, which I definitely feel. Don't get me wrong. It's just like, it's done in a really it's not done right. Like, I can feel like, just by me watching this, I can tell that there is no love for the character. There is no heart. There's no passion behind this. It's just, for me, I value shows that have heart, passion, and everything that comes with being creative and having a creative outlet. But this just doesn't have the heart. This doesn't have the love for the Marvel Universe. The Marvel Universe is great. It's fantastic. You have great characters. You have great villains. You have great one-off villains. You have some pretty good side villains from the one-off villains, you know. And you have some really good major villains for each character, for each hero. But this show, as I'm watching this, as I'm torturing myself watching this, it's like right up there with Dawson's Creek, right up there with freaking Seventh Heaven. It's right up there with Friends. It's so bad. But it's one of those shows you're like, yeah, I don't see myself watching another season unless they do something incredible. But even then, it's like, why? Like, literally, it doesn't really feel like a sitcom. It feels more like Lies. Like, this episode was so bad. Like, okay, so your objective is to be, or was to be, funny for what? 9 episodes? But your jokes aren't funny. It's it's interesting how bad this show is, how terrible this episode is. Like, this episode was, I think, one of the worst episodes I have ever seen in this whole entire show. Like, there is no plot. It's just random. It just feels random at this point. Like, it just feels like random episodes that they had time to edit, and that's about it. Like, it just feels like a bunch of edited sorry, let me rephrase that. It feels like a bunch of poorly edited toxic feminicity garbage. And I know I might turn some heads with this, but watch the show if you haven't already, and tell me otherwise, because at this point, to me, it feels like uninspired, unpassionated, poorly edited, poorly humorous, and forced one-sided sexism at its best. Like, why? Just why? It's so terrible. It makes the worst show imaginable seem like a better show. And that's saying something. Because I grew up with people watching terrible shows. Terrible shows. And it's just so freaking bad. I'm so amazed at myself that I don't turn into a giant green hulking rage monster owned by Universal. And that's funny because she's on my shirt right now. Oh my god. You cock tease us with Daredevil. Okay, that's great. Cock tease us with Daredevil. In the last episode, just to give us a wedding episode, please, please explain to me the logic behind that one. Like, it just doesn't feel genuine. This episode just doesn't feel genuine. The show doesn't feel genuine. And I watched I've been watching some Star Wars stuff. I mean, that Star Wars girl videos, and she makes a lot of good points. She says that it's not funny, which I agree. It is barely funny. Like, there are maybe one or two jokes in like the entire show that I laughed at, but other than that, I'm just laughing. Besides those maybe one, two, maybe possibly three jokes, most of the time I'm laughing at how terrible the show is. That's me. I'm just laughing at how terrible and forcible the show is on women empowerment, which I don't feel like it's about women empowerment. I just feel, to me, from what I've been watching, it just seems and feels like a bunch of women butthurt about their dating lives and their personal lives. Like, okay, leave that shit out. Put some good shit in. Make some really good jokes about you could have or could make light of what you went through by doing something pretty decent. And it's not decent. It's poorly edited. It just feels random. Like, each episode just feels like random edited episodes that the editors worked on. And there's really no heart. There's really no passion. Oh, I swear, this is like this season. The show just feels like the middle half of Power Rangers Turbo. Like, so bad. Like it feels like I don't know if it's I don't know if it's the first half of Power Rangers. For me, it feels like the half of like Power Rangers Turbo. I don't know which half. I don't know if it's the first half that came after the movie, or the second half that where Tommy, Adam, what's her name, the one who came from Africa, and Cat, and Yeah. It's, I don't, I don't know if it's because those four left. I don't know if it's the half where those four left or when the other four joined, or right when the other four joined. But this is pretty terrible. Pretty terrible. Like, this has very low rewatchability. Like, 1% rewatchability. And to make a point, I watched that Star Wars girl videos, and she makes some really good points. It's just women being sexist and making men look like the bad guys. Like, yes, some of us are douchebags and dicks, but there are a lot of good, likable dicks or, assholes, Like, in this episode, there's this one guy who's like, I'm Mr. Immortal. Okay, cool. You're Mr. Immortal. And, like, so he's like, I want to get a divorce. I want a divorce. And there's just Nikki and the other lady lawyer are just berating him, like, you didn't want to talk to your spouse about this? Like, that's kind of insensitive. Like, don't you think he might have tried? Like, there's multiple reasons why someone would want a divorce. Like, maybe it's the person he's living with, who's the problem. It's like, it's things like that turns heads. And I like to think I'm being honest here, but it's like, it's like, why? Why should that guy keep talking or trying to talk? Maybe he did talk to his wife or whoever his spouse was about what he was feeling or whatnot. Turns out, apparently, he has like 20 freaking spouses that he apparently faked his own death with, or from, because, like, that was the only way out, which begs the question, is he really the problem, or are the people he's marrying and dating and getting with the problem? It makes you think, like, okay, if this show is supposed to be about She-Hulk and women empowerment, right? and women wanting to be equal to men, which I think women are. They get equal. They're getting equal pay if they do a good job. If you do a good job, you should get the same amount pay as anyone else who works wherever. That's what I feel, and that's what I believe. If you do good, you get good. If you do horrible, you don't deserve the amount of level of pay and respect that the other woman who's doing good and is working good should get. If you're doing terrible, you're doing terrible. You should get terrible pay. Like, it's fair, in my opinion. But if you are bad, you get bad. If you do good, you get good. But this is like a prime example of like chauvinistic, toxic women being like, oh, all men are douchebags. Only look at women as its or thems or things. Yeah, some, but not all. Like, they paint men in this show as men who are unfunny, who are pigs and only want sex or just to get laid. But also, women are like that too. So it's not really fair, to guys, whether you are a pretty decent, lovable asshole, or if you are a really shitty, terrible douchebag who just wants to bang and dip. I lived with women pretty much my whole entire life. And I know from experience, girls are just about the same as men. Trust me, I used to get beat by my mother and her then girlfriend and my sister and my grandmother, my mother's mother, on a pretty daily basis. So I know for a fact this is so wrong and misconstrued and just one-sided. So one-sided that it's not the case. Heck, I still like women. I'm just not in a thing because, to be honest, I've never really told anybody this, but to be honest, I just don't want to be hit by women. And that's why I stay to myself. I talk about movies, TV shows, and superheroes. That's pretty much all I do. By myself. That's why I go to the movies by myself. Or with my brother when I want to do some brother bonding time. But I'm never taking my sister to a movie theater to watch any movie whatsoever, because one thing I hate the most is people who talk during the movie. And that is what my sister does. She's a movie talker. And I hate those people. I can't stand those people. Those people deserve to frickin' not exist. But we have those people for a reason, sadly. But this show is terrible. It is right up there with Seventh Heaven, who pushes religiousism onto you and is so 90s, early 2000s sexism at its finest, because gotta love the 90s. Dawson's Creek, which is just terrible writing and poor acting. And don't get me wrong, the cast is hot as hell. The cast is freaking hot. But the acting is terrible. The jokes are so horrible that it makes you laugh. Literally laugh at how bad the show is. Like, I have never seen a much worse, terrible show. Okay, maybe I have. I have, in my 26 years of life, of existing in this realm, in this universe, in this timeline, never seen so poorly edited, unfunny, terrible show with a couple decent episodes so far. Like, out of the entire show, this show had at least so far a couple pretty decent episodes. Pretty decent. And the first was episode 2. Episode 2 was by far a mostly decent episode. Episode 4 was okay, but it wasn't decent. It was barely decent of an episode. Just barely decent. Just by a fraction of a hair decent. Then episode 3. And then it falls downhill with episode 5. And then this episode, which is, in my opinion, one of the worst episodes of the show so far. And we only have what? Episode 7, 8, 9. We have 3 episodes left. What are they gonna do? What are they gonna pull? Are they gonna pull a pretty decent finale? Season finale? Out of their ass? I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. I highly doubt the season finale of She-Hulk is going to be right up there with, or close to, Power Rangers Turbo, which I love the ending to Power Rangers Turbo. One of the best season finale episodes I have ever seen. But it does not beat anywhere near great Power Ranger end season finales like Power Rangers in Space, SPD, Jungle Fury, Dino Thunder. Oh my god, Dino Thunder, one of the greatest season finales I have ever watched in Power Rangers history. And they're what? They're 29 years. That's pretty impressive. Next year is the 30th anniversary, so kudos to Power Rangers for lasting 30 years and entertaining us for 30 years. But oh my god. Compare this episode to one of the worst shows you have watched, and this is that show. This is that episode, I mean. But anyways, that's me. That's my rant. Wow. Wow. But anyways, that's all I have for you guys so far for right now. Please like, share, subscribe, and if you want to comment. I'm sorry that this show exists from the bottom of my heart. I'm sorry. Women, I'm sorry, men. I'm just sorry in general. That this show, I'm sorry if you watch the show. I'm sorry that you feel obligated to watch this show. Because I feel sorry for myself that I feel obligated for a Marvel fan to watch this show. And yeah. I'm sorry. But anyways, once again, that's all I have for you guys so far for right now. once again, please like, share, subscribe, and have a good day. Thanks. Bye.